saying element of this. This is about you having confidence and clarity in what you want to be known for. So confidence and clarity in what you want to be known for. And the doing element is about the work that you do being consistent with what you're saying you want to be known for and having credibility. So it's these, they're quite big, I think, and they're quite big things, like both, because the saying bit, you've got to know, you've got to be able to know what it is that you want to be known for. And then on top of knowing, you have to be able to talk about it confidently with other people. So you've kind of got this clarity bit, but you've also got to not have confidence gremlins getting in your way. Like I've got to be able to say, I want to be known for making careers better for everybody. And then I've got to be confident enough to put that out into the world. So it's not easy, this stuff. And the doing bit, the consistency and credibility, you have to think about, well, how much time am I spending doing that thing? And if I'm not doing it in my day job, then how else could I be doing it? So I do want to say to begin with that, and it's probably not a surprise, but building your reputation is not something that we kind of click our fingers and it's done. Like we don't go, I suddenly want to be known for being an amazing manager, and ta-da, like that. It takes confidence to work it out. Like you've got to reflect on it a little bit. And then it takes quite a lot of effort to align it. And I have spent a lot of time doing this myself because wanting to be known for making careers better for everybody took a while for me to get to that level of clarity, honestly. Like it took a while for me to think that's what I really want to be about. And then it took quite a long time for me to align my work to that. So this isn't a quick thing. It is very, very doable. And I think every time you make a change in your career, particularly if it's quite a big pivot, this becomes really important to refocus on. So there was a time when I wanted to build my reputation all around being a marketing leader. And so I kind of got clear on that and I was talking about that. And then I did a lot of work to align the do with the say. And then I made quite a big pivot in moving from being a marketing leader to kind of this, I guess, career thought leader, I want to call it that. And then I had to realign what I was doing with what I was saying I want to be known for. So this is not fixed forever. And I would say anytime you make a significant career change, rethink this stuff. So if you're moving into a new company, even if you're staying in what you're doing, just relook at it. And if you are moving into a new area, like it's some kind of pivot, I would relook at this again. Like this is not something that you do once and it's gone. It's also not something that you fix forever. Just because you say today, I want to be known for being, I don't know, a creative problem solver, for example, doesn't mean that that's fixed forever. But I would say it's not a quick change to make. So you do have to put some conscious effort and energy into it. So what I thought I would do is I would talk through the matrix. We might also get some stars on the screen. I'm going to talk it through, get some stars on the screen to see where as a community we might need to focus. And then I'll bring it to life with some ideas for action. That's the plan anyway. The iPad might die before that. This iPad has not been charged for a very long time, but it's some like version from 2015, so fingers crossed. Any questions just generally about reputation before we get into the matrix, which is a whole level of detail to dive into? Any questions or reflections generally around reputation? I just pause. You can obviously come off mute if you want to, or stick it into chat before we go on to the matrix. Oh, great meaty topic, like a great meaty topic, apart from I am a vegetarian, so meat's never amazing. A great same. Brilliant. Okay, no, I can't see any questions, but all good. So let's get into it. If anybody, how can you understand the current level of your reputation? Katie, that is actually a really good point when we get into this definition. So Sarah and I debated this for a really long time because we were like, well, your reputation is both what you want to be known for, but what you are actually known for. So you sort of need to assess yourself on this matrix and then get some other people that you trust to assess you too. But you get into a whole level of complexity with this. So I will say that point in a moment, but we have started with what do you want to be known for and how can you take control of that? It is important to see whether your impact and your intent are aligned. So you do need to get some feedback, because I could be like, oh, I want to be known to be a career thought leader, and everyone else still thinks I'm a marketing expert. So you do need the mirror of this stuff by getting some feedback. I'll talk about it in a second. All right, this is our matrix. Okay, I'll explain it. So we've got the two aspects, say. So this is, let me get this up here. So here we've got high say So you've got a high level of confidence and clarity when you're talking about what you want to be known for. And this is low say. So this is where, you're not very clear, or maybe you have an idea of what you want to be known for, but you're not really confident in talking about it with other people. So that's kind of our say scale. And then over here, we've got our do dimensions. Here you're spending a lot of your time at work. A lot of your time is spent doing this thing that you want to be known for. So that's kind of high do. And over here, you've got low do. So in this situation, you're just not spending a lot of time. It's like me. I want to be known for career development, but I'm actually spending all of my time managing processes, for example. So low do. What I wanted to get a bit of an insight, and hopefully this will work, is where you think you are at the moment on these quadrants. So let me kind of hide the names of the annotators. So do you feel, for example, at the moment at work, you are high do? My pen isn't working, I just need to drop it. You're high do, so you are spending quite a lot of time doing what you want to do, but you're not very confident in talking about it with other people. So that'll put you in this quadrant. Or maybe you're here. So you're not sure what you want to be known for, and actually you're not really sure how your work aligns. You just never really thought about reputation before, and it's brand new. Are you up here maybe? So this is where you're really clear about what you want to be known for, but in no way does your work align. Or are you perhaps here, which is where you are clear about what you want to be known for, and the majority of your time is spent doing it as well. Stick stars on the screen. Lucy has kindly put that into chat for any of the new people. So you just go to the top of your screen with a few options: annotate, stamp, and star, which is what you can see on here. Just getting a bit of a view of the community of where we are right now in the context of our reputation. Doesn't have to be like trends and themes, but sort of useful for us all to know. What have we got? So a lot of people bottom left. So a lot of people who are like, I have never really thought about this stuff before, Helen, which is absolutely fine. I find that quite exciting because it's a whole new area for you to work on for yourself. And a couple of people saying, I am doing like what I want to build my reputation around, but I haven't got that kind of clarity. I haven't got that confidence in talking about it, in sort of, what we will call speaking up. All right, brilliant. A few stars just popped in there. I was going to say, there's not that many people who are like, I'm clear, I'm confident, and I'm credible. There's not that many people in that space, which is our top right, that kind of greener. We are indeed, Kelly. We are everywhere. But that's good because we're all different and we can all help each other. All right, what I'm going to do now is clear off your lovely stars and hearts and crosses. Thank you for engaging in that. Hooray, it worked. Good sign for the session that I'm going to be doing in half an hour. Quite a lot of people. What we're now going to do is talk about each of those boxes. So what is the specific action that we can take depending on where we are at the moment? So first off, this bottom left one where, I don't know, half of us, or at least a third of us were in this one. So this is low do, low say, perhaps haven't really invested much time in thinking about reputation. The thing here is to just explore the unknown, to spend a bit of time getting curious about this. And the best thing to do is to look at some people's reputation that you admire. And you're not trying to replicate their reputation. We're not trying to copy anybody, because we're trying to be the best versions of ourselves rather than, copy somebody else. But have a look at that person whose reputation you admire for whatever reason. They don't have to be doing the same thing as you. There's just something that you admire about how they've built their reputation. And really start to understand and explore what is it that they have done and how could that work for you. So I think on the podcast, I don't think it got edited out, but on the podcast, I talked about Pip Jameson. I've actually not listened back to the full episode yet. But when Sarah and I were talking about it and recording it, I said that somebody whose reputation that I really admire is Pip Jameson. I don't know if any of you know Pip. She's awesome. She's the founder of an organization called The Dots, which is I guess the shortcut is LinkedIn for creatives. That's the shortcut of The Dots. And it's a brilliant community. And Pip is a female founder of a tech business who has raised capital through venture capital, and that business is growing fast. And there's a lot of that's not easy to do. There aren't that many female tech founders who have successful growing business who have got funding. Like there's a lot of things that Pip has done brilliantly. And so I admire her because she pushes the boundaries. I admire her reputation because she's authentic. Pip is also dyslexic, and she says that dyslexia is her superpower. And so she takes something that other people might perceive as a weakness and she turns it into this unique and distinctive strength. And I absolutely love that about her. And so do I want to be Pip? No, I don't want to go run a tech company. That's not what I want to do. But is there some things that I can learn from her and how she's built her reputation, her authenticity, her energy, the way that she has taken things that people might perceive to be a weakness and turn it into a strength. Yes, like I want to build a reputation around some of those elements that she has taken. That I find that very useful as a starting place. So I wonder, just before we kind of move on to the other boxes, whether anyone has got anyone whose reputation that they admire that we could learn from. Just kind of anyone who might be in that area. Is there anyone you think, oh, I look at that person and I think, wow, you have built a great reputation. I admire the reputation you have built. Maybe head into chat and just let us know if there's anyone whose reputation you're like, that I find great. And then maybe we can sort of dig a little bit into the why. An old manager internally, brilliant. I like that's someone sort of closer to home. And Sarah, what was it that your old manager did that you admired? Let us know what kind of, if you were to sort of dissect how they built their reputation, what was it? They network, so strong relationships, strong open relationships. Oh my gosh, Kerry, Heather McGregor is a legend. If any of you don't know Heather McGregor, she her identity is Mrs. Moneypenny. So she wrote for the FT for a long time and she's brilliant. And I interviewed her on the podcast a couple of years ago now, and I was so nervous. Don't listen to it because I was so nervous, like in that podcast. I flew to Edinburgh to interview her. Yeah. So Michelle Obama. So what is it about Michelle Obama that you admire? And Corinne, Jeremy is amazing. So he's kind of brain. Jeremy shares his storytelling through amazing visuals. Informal mentor, brilliant. So loads of people here who are fantastic. That's very nice, Anika. What's really useful is like, who is the person and what is it that you admire about how they have built their reputation? So it's just kind of really understanding that, because then it might just give you some ideas for what you could do. So if it's about, it's how they've built relationships, then think about how you could do that. If it's about, it's how they tell stories, maybe that's something that you could focus on. So again, we're not trying to replicate their reputation, but we are trying to take a little bit of inspiration from it, particularly if we're, just starting from scratch a little bit. You are very kind, Maria. Thank you. All right, let's go to our next area, everybody. Stop me at any time if you've got any questions. The next one we're going to talk about is this one at the top left. So up here, if I can get my iPad or Henry, my little boy's iPad to work, up here, top left. This is where you're kind of clear about what you want to be known for. You're like, I want to be known for being an amazing storyteller. I've got it. That's it. I've got the clarity. But then the reality of the day job is slightly different. And that is not how we're spending our time. This was me at Virgin. So at Virgin, my job was, I was head of marketing, or I was founded a business called Virgin Red. And so by day, I was building a business to do with loyalty and data. But actually in my head, I wanted to be known for career development, but it was inconsistent. So I was like, I want to be, a leader who develops other people and who helps other people with their careers. But most of my time was spent building a loyalty app. And it's not that was bad. It was a great job, but it was inconsistent. It was inconsistent with what I was saying I wanted to be known for. And so what we need to do here is reduce that inconsistency. And this is the bit that takes time. So this is where I was at Virgin, like 7 years ago when Henry was born. 7 years ago. The ways that you can do this is things like job crafting. So what can you do in the job that you're in today? For example, I was like, could I create more development programs for my team? Is there stuff for the wider team that I could launch, just to spend a bit more of time in the job that I'm in today doing this stuff? So job crafting is your first thing here. Then going a bit further, thinking about organization, maybe even industry. What could you do? So for example, I started to write about careers for Marketing Week. So I did a bit of job crafting. Then I went into the industry and was doing career development stuff in the context of marketing, so writing for Marketing Week. And then there's what could you do outside of the industry, outside of your job. And that is when I started the side project with Sarah on Amazing If. And so think about the ripples of your reputation here. Day job, department, organization, industry, that's kind of your next ripples. And then basically all the way outside of it. That is why it takes time. Really good question, Sarah. How did you get clarity about what you wanted to be known for? Combination of values and strengths. So a real focus on values of what motivates and drives you. Strengths are, the things that you want to be known for, what ultimately as well, the work that you do that gives you energy. And I was just accumulating a lot of that insight. I realized that the happiest moments in my day when I was launching a new release for the app. It was when I was mentoring somebody in a team, or it was when I helped somebody outside of work with their career. And I just got clearer and clearer on, oh, I think this is something that I could get really good at, and it's something that I absolutely love doing, and I just want to do it more. But it's, I think, tuning into your values and strengths is where you get some of that clarity. Can I say volunteering the skills you want to build is also helpful? Absolutely. Yeah, that's another way that you can stretch your strengths. So volunteering is a great way. I'm going to move on because we've got two more areas, but hopefully that helps with that kind of inconsistency bit over here. So the next one is bottom right. So this is where you are doing, quite a few of you are here actually. So this is where you are doing the stuff that you want to be known for. So let's just use my example. Like, I am doing quite a lot of career development, but there's a challenge. You're not speaking, you're not clear and confident. So in your one-to-ones with your managers or your mentors or whoever it is, you're not saying, the thing I really want to build my career around is ... Like, you're not owning your reputation. Like, you're spending time building the skills and experience that will give you the credibility and the consistency, but you've not got that confidence in communicating it to other people. And the issue there is that it can be confusing for people. They can make their own assumptions about what you're all about. And also you can miss out on opportunities, because when you're in that top right box, like high say, high do, other people will match you to things that you want to be known for, because you'll have that credibility. So we're missing out on opportunities here for ourselves and potentially creating a bit of confusion. The action to take is to speak up, and that is both that can be both kind of verbal or written, in person or kind of virtual as well. So let me talk about that a little bit more. The action that we talk about on the podcast is a 5-3-1 sentence. So we need to get you the clarity. Remember here, this is clarity and confidence. So start with like a 5-sentence summary, roughly, of what it is you want to be known for. Like, just write that down. So, because at the moment we're not that clear, right? So start with 5 sentences. What is it I want to be known for? You don't have to show anybody that to begin with. Then think, if I was to take that down into 3 sentences, what would that be? So you're kind of going to take your slightly longer, maybe a little bit waffly, and you're going to take it down into 3 sentences. And then from that, go to 1 sentence. So, and what that helps you to do is to get really, really clear. And the more that you kind of become aware of those sentences, and the more you start saying them out loud, the more confident you can be in talking about them to other people. I would say practice a little bit first. Like, first of all, do the 5-3-1, and then practice a little bit and think about, how could I drop that into a conversation? So that might sound like, one of the things that I want to be known for in my work is being excellent at career development. You've got to find your language so that it doesn't feel arrogant or inauthentic. And you'll only get to that by sort of practicing it, probably on your own to begin with, and then just like experimenting it in some sort of safe conversations. So one-to-ones, yeah, Corinne, absolutely, with your manager. Try it with your mentors, try it with your colleagues. I mentioned kind of like speaking up as in a conversation. It can also be written. So think about your LinkedIn profile. Is there a place that 3 or maybe 1 sentence summary could go in your LinkedIn profile? Think about, on your CV, and that top bit, whatever we're calling that now, the personal statements. I hate that language, but that bit at the top where we actually like, this is actually me. Is it in that bit? All the places you are, basically. We want your speak up statement to be in all the places you are. And sometimes that's a meeting, and sometimes that's a document of some sort. So yeah, exactly. And okay, you might have your bios exist in different places. Some people have bios on their intranets. I have a bio, for example. You want that stuff to be in all the places that you are, because we want the consistency. Last but not least, the dream box up here. This is where we're aiming for, that top right box. That's where you've got high say, high do. This is great. This is great. You are already building your reputation through how you're talking about yourself and how you're aligning work. This is great, but let's go further. And one way that you can go further is when other people are saying this stuff about you, and when other people are creating more things for you to do. And that you get to that by increasing advocacy. So when other people take your reputation ripples further, because they are saying, oh, Helen Tupper is brilliant at career development, or Helen Tupper does this really well, we should find another opportunity for her to do it even more. And that's where that box gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and your reputation starts to build. It really gets momentum when you're up there. The best thing you can do here is like find sponsors. Those sponsors are people who advocate for you. They tend to be people of influence, so more senior or access to stuff that you have not got. Not every senior person is a sponsor, but you can spot a sponsor because you'll hear them talking up other people. And so when you start to spot a sponsor, because you're hearing what they're saying about other people, think about how you can support them. The thing here is spot and support. If you want them to support you, start with how you can support them. That is what I took away from my conversation with Sylvia Ann Hewlett, who's like the go-to guru on sponsorship. She's brilliant. And she said, you've got to think about, what could you do? How could you use your strengths to help that person? What knowledge have you got that could help them with something that they need? I've done some podcast episode links for you on the next page, but that is a really good one. If you are there in that box, fantastic. Go think about sponsorship, listen to the episode, or read Sylvia Ann Hewlett's book about sponsorship, because that's the best thing to go forward. I'm just going to put one more page up and then I'll just pause in case there's anything immediate on questions. This might be a good one to screenshot because sorry, it's not written very neatly, but I really had to use my finger to do it. These are all the episodes that align, the podcast episodes that align with those different areas. So for example, on 204 for increased advocacy, I think that's the episode of Sylvia Ann Hewlett. I couldn't write all the episodes, but I promise you these ones are all around. They will help you reduce inconsistency, or they will help you to increase advocacy. So beyond today, hopefully that will help you with those areas. We are pretty much at time. Do drop any questions that you've got in chat, or you can just email me afterwards, or Sarah, but my email is helen@amazingif.com. Lucy, would you mind dropping my email into chat in case the team, if anyone here wants it? So you're welcome to. I know we haven't got loads of time now, and just so that you know, next week is National Careers Week, and we have 4 conversations with people about their squiggly career stories. Been brilliant. We've got to be really nosy. So we've got Steph Douglas, who is the founder of Don't Buy Her Flowers, talking about kind of her journey into entrepreneurship. A conversation that I recorded yesterday, which I absolutely love, with Jim McLeod, who is a Rear Admiral in the Royal Navy. Never spoken to a Rear Admiral before. 33 years in the Navy, and so many squiggly things, everything from managing defense for the royal family to conflict in the Middle East. Like, fascinating. We also have Eric Sims, who has pivoted multiple times in his career, some very, very different pivots you can hear about. And then Simon Mundy, who talks about his career in the BBC and basically how he created career opportunities for himself. So how he created jobs that didn't exist until he did them. He decided he was getting a bit stuck, and his career strategy became burn the boats. He decided that he was going to just push a bit harder for the stuff that he wanted, because if he didn't get it, he was probably going to leave anyway. And I found it really interesting to just hear how he created opportunities by being very bold. So that's next week. That's next week's conversation. And we'll be back together to talk about all of our insights with you next